Hi guys, today's lesson is going to be angle pairs formed by parallel lines. So there are 6 types. So let's review the first one. The first one you've seen before, they're vertical angles. So what are vertical angles again? They are across from each other and they are congruent. All right, so let's look at the problem. So here, let's highlight our transversal. So transversal is the line that cuts through the parallel lines. So the parallel lines are F and H. So here we're starting off with, if I have angle 1, angle 1 is across from angle 4, so those guys are vertical. I have angle 2 that is across from angle 3. And let's try a different color. So angle 5 goes with 8. And then I have angle 6 that goes with angle 7. Okay, the next type is called corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are on the same side of the transversal, and they're on the same side of the parallel lines. These angles are congruent. All right, so let's look. So transversal is the one that's highlighted. So if I'm looking at angle 1, okay, so the same side would be either angle 1, 3, 5, or 7, but we want one that's congruent to angle 1, so that would be angle 5. Let's go to angle 3, and angle 3 would go with 7, okay, because that's congruent. Now if I go on to the other side, I have angle 2, 4, 6, and 8. 2 would go with 6 because they're congruent. And then I have angle 4. 4 would go with 8. So when you look at these angles corresponding, just to help you guys out, how I remember them is they form an F. Okay, so what does that mean? So if you look through, so if I have here, I'm going to draw a couple of them. So one of them, and then this one would be upside down. This one would go this way. And then we have some that looks this way. So for example, the green on this side, if you look at it, see how it's behind? Right there. And the other one is here. And this one is here. And the blue. All right. I don't know if you see that, the F. All right, so let's look at the third type, alternate interior angles. So the word interior means inside. Like an interior decorator, they decorate the inside of a house. Alternate just means opposite. So here, these are the angles that are on opposite sides of the transversal. They're the inside angles of the parallel lines, and they are congruent. All right, so then let's look at angle 3. So my inside angles would be 3, 4, 5, 6. But if I pick 3, 3 would go with not the 5, but would go with the 6 because it's on the opposite side of the transversal and they're congruent. Angle 5 would go with 4. All right. Okay, so the next type, number 4, alternate exterior angles. So again, here the exterior, we're just going to use the vocab for that. That's the outside angles. So they are on opposite sides. Okay, so opposite sides of the transversal. They are the outside angles and they are congruent. Congruent just means that they're the same. So I already highlighted my transversal. So if I went to the outside angles, right? So my outside angles are going to be 1, 2, 7, and 8. But here they want alternate, so opposite sides of the transversal. So if I pick 1, the outside angles would either be 2, 7, or 8, but they're on opposite sides and they're congruent. That would be 8. If I pick 7, 7 and 2 are on opposite sides and they're outside angles. Example 5, the same side exterior angles are angles that are on the same side. Okay, so same side of the transversal. Interior, again, this is inside. So they're the inside angles, but they are supplementary. Supplementary means equals to 180. So if I gave you, so inside angles are 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to put a mark on 4. So 4 is going to be with number 6, angle 6, because they're on the same side of the transversal and they're inside. So 4 is an obtuse angle and 6 is an acute. When you put them together, it gives you 180 degrees. So this is 6. Angle 3. So on the same side of the transversal would be 3 and 5, because 5 is the inside angle. So 3 goes with angle 5. Okay, so example 6, here we have the same side exterior, so that is your outside angles. Okay, so they're on the same side of the transversal. They are the outside of the parallel lines, and they are supplementary, again, adds up to 180. So if I looked at the outside angles, they could be angle 1, 2, 7, and 8. Here we picked angle 1. So on the same side with angle 1, it has to be angle 7. If I pick angle 2, 2 and 8. Okay, and again, these guys are not equal. They add up to 180. So let's look at example 1. So here I'm going to just highlight my transversal. So what it's telling you, that it says if angle 8, so I'm just going to put it right here, as 130 degrees, can you find the measure of the missing side? So the best way to do this is, we know that 8 and 5 are vertical, right? So that's 130 degrees, they're equal. And if I look at 1 and 4, okay, so 1 and 5 are corresponding, so that has to be equal. So 130, and then these guys are vertical. So I can fill in angle 1 is 130 degrees, angle 4 is 130, angle 5 is 130 degrees. Now, how would I get the other angles? So I need to find angle 7. Well, we know that 7 and 8 are supplementary angles, right? So 180 minus 130 will give me 50. So everything else is 50 degrees. So 50, 50, 50, and 50 degrees. And once you add them all up, you're going to get 360. All right, so when you add them up. Okay, so let's look at example 2. Here we want to know the angle relationship. So you're going to refer back to your notes. So let's look. A and E. So I'm going to go to A and E. They are equal. They're on the same side of the transversal. So therefore, they're called corresponding angles. Okay, D, so you have D and F. They're on opposite sides of the transversal. All right, so my transversal is right here on opposite sides, so we know it has to be alternate. So they're alternate outside, alternate exterior angles. All right, so these guys are equal, equal. C and H, so let's look at C and H. They're my inside angles, so I know that their interior is something, right? But are they equal? They don't look equal, okay, because they're not on opposite sides, so these are same side. Interior angle, so it means that they equal 180. And let's look at D and G. So I'm going to use a check. D and G. They are outside angles, okay, at the parallel lines. So those are exterior angles. But they are on the same side. So they're same side exterior angles. And they add up to 180. B and H. I have B and H. They are inside angles. So those are interior angles. But they are on opposite sides. So they're alternate interior angles. That means that they are congruent. I have H. So now it's H and F. These guys are across from each other, so they're called vertical angles, and they are equal. And let's look at example 3. Here it says identify the angle relationship shown in the diagram, then write an equation to solve for this, for x. So here it's either equal or add to 180. So I have here, I'm going to mark it here and here. It is on the opposite side of the transversal, and they are the inside. So opposite side, we know that it's going to be alternate, right? And they're inside, so it's interior angles. And we know that they are equal. So we're going to set them equal. So 130 is equal to that angle, 4x minus 10. And now we're just going to solve. Add 10 to both sides, just like a regular equation. I have 140 equals 4x, and we're going to divide by 4. And then x is equal to 35. So then that is my answer.